Now, after the break, the Adelaide family fighting over Grandma's funeral.
So we can't even go down there and say goodbye.
I suggest you go to your relations' residence and see if you can sort out your own problems.
Well, now to a bitter family feud that not even the death of a loved one could patch up. Adelaide's Erdman family has just lost its oldest and most respected member, Grandma Elsie. Now, you'd think an occasion like Elsie Erdman's funeral would bring her grieving family together. But in a bizarre twist to a long-running family feud, it seems Elsie's daughter is hell-bent on making sure the rest of the family are locked out. Liz Kefford has the story.
The rest of the family's grieving while she is playing God.
I think it's mostly greed. A lot of it to do with greed and sort of payback to the rest of the family.
Why would they want to view her body now while she is dead when they weren't interested in viewing her body while she was still alive?
It sounds like something from a soap opera. A family is divided and at war over their right to see their grandma rest in peace.
We all want to say goodbye, but is it worth this to say goodbye? Because it's ripping the family apart.
The dearly departed is 92-year-old Elsie Erdman, who passed away at an Adelaide nursing home. Within hours, a bitter family feud erupted.
A lot of hate, and I'm ready to sort of go out myself and sort of slog on one.
The person Eddie Riger is referring to is none other than his mum Veronica, the executor of the will, who's banned her family from the funeral. Lined up against her is Eddie.
I hate her. I hate her very much. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got more rights to go to that funeral than the same as the rest of the family has too.
Her nephew Peter...
I think she's a little too hard on the rest of the family, and she should try to remember that grandmother was sort of the head of the family and that everyone should be given the opportunity to say their farewell.
And her daughter-in-law Debbie.
She's getting back at the rest of us.
The family feud stems from the decision to put Elsie Erdman in a nursing home and a battle over who gets what in the will. Surely the time's come to let sleeping dogs lie just for one day.
I just can't. To me, it is like I'm now renew my will. I'm dying tomorrow, and they're there all tomorrow. What can I get out of it? What can I get out of it?
Veronica Erdman left strict instructions with the funeral parlour that no one was to visit, and staff were sworn to secrecy about when and where the elusive final service would be held. Bizarre as it may seem, the old lady with a large family may go to the grave alone.
I saw Mrs. Erdman before she died on Monday, and I've come down here to see if I can view Mrs. Erdman.
The confused funeral director has been besieged by the banished relatives.
So we can't even go down there and say goodbye.
We're in the middle here. I suggest you go to your relations' residence and see if you can sort out your own problems.
Why does he need permission to see his grandmother?
You sort it out with it's your family problem. It's your family problem, not mine.
But Veronica, it seems, has no interest in patching up the age-old family wounds, even for the sake of laying Granny to rest. She says her mother didn't want people to see her once she'd passed away, and strange as it may seem, wanted only one of her many grieving relatives at the service.
And I feel the way they carried on in her lifetime, they made as well carry on after her death.
Are you being spiteful?
Yes and no. Yes, because I've got a lot of grievance against the family.
That's her wishes, but she won't answer the phone, she won't speak, she won't leave a message to any of us. This is her brother, her sister, their kids, none of the family.
If you think you've heard enough of the funeral family feud, well, it gets worse. Relatives who've been frozen out of the funeral are considering legal action of an injunction to halt Grandma's passage until such time as they're invited to the service.
Well, it is a circus, really, to me, because there's a lot of stupidity involved, coming from one direction. And everyone else is hoping to go to Grandma's funeral.
Until the family sorts out its differences, Granny Erdman is in an indeterminate state, somewhere between heaven and earth.
I think for one day, this one day, that she should put it aside and let the family come.
They say they just want to say goodbye and spend 5 minutes with your mother. Why won't you let them?
Because they've got no time for me either.